is there a relationship between, especially young men and women becoming Muslim, and young men becoming Muslim, and the YouTube influencer Andrew Tate and him embracing Islam?
Yeah. So I think to say no would be incorrect, and to say to make it a major reason, I think it would also be incorrect.
Okay.
But I do believe that his Islam has had an impact
Really?
on young men.
Yeah.
Because, and I think if you get into that conversation, you have to get into the conversation of what's happening in society.
Right.
And I think what's happening in society is more impactful. I mean, if you look to why he became Muslim, Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
it's the direction society's heading
Social
in.
reasons.
Yeah, and I think more so the like if you just look at the gender issues, the whole the LGBT issues.
Yeah.
So these issues are driving a wedge through society.
Right.
And so when those that are deemed to be on the right see how black and white Islam is on certain fronts, they incline towards it, and especially for young men today, because young men, I think it's becoming increasingly more difficult for a young man to kind of find himself in a society which is basically erasing,
Feminizing.
exactly, feminizing and erasing what it means to be a man. And it's been
Yes.
going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And so Islam, it's not that they come to Islam because Islam is a very kind of macho centric way of life,
Yeah.
but it's very black and white in these areas. Like a man is a man and a woman is a woman.
Right.
And we have a framework which makes these things clear.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we had a lady bring her daughter to the masjid. A non-Muslim lady
Okay.
brought her daughter to the masjid and said, I want my daughter to become a Muslim.
A non-Muslim
lady.
Really?
Yeah, brought her daughter to the masjid and said, I want my daughter to become Muslim.
Yeah.
Because I want her to know right from wrong, and I want her to know like what is clear, because Islam makes it clear.
Yeah.
And many of these young men, they say they're disciplined. What is it that brings you to Islam? The discipline.
Yeah.
And I believe I said to you over the phone, that's something which I was quite surprised by, because when you think about it, like I look at the Muslim community sometimes and I think,
Ill-disciplined.
yeah, we're not very disciplined,
Yeah.
when it comes to our eating habits, when it comes to sleeping habits
yeah.
and things. But then when you look at it from the outside perspective, you have this young Muslim man or young Muslim woman doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't involve themselves in promiscuity, doesn't take drugs, is very clear on, what's right, what's wrong, doesn't eat haram food. So that is quite disciplined,
Yeah.
and you said earlier in the beginning, you said, like, I'm surprised when I see the amount of new Muslims.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised.
Really?
Sometimes I've caught myself looking at these young people. I'm saying, like, what is it that's bringing you to Islam? Like, what's happening? But then you have to realize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is preparing and is in control of all affairs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, يَكِيدُونَ كَيْدًا وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا. They plot and they plan. But Allah is the one who is in control of all plots and plans ultimately. And so you see these young people coming to Islam, and you can say it's the Andrew Tate effect. You can say it's the societal effect, as in where society is heading.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's bringing these people to Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is musabbibul asbab, the one who incepts the causes for these things.